Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Surround for the Atari 2600. In the last video, we checked out game modes 3 and 4, and we also checked out the rest of the game modes briefly, which are all two-player, sadly. And we got to check out the gimmicks in those, such as the ability to erase your trail and also move diagonally, as well as wrap around the screen. Now it's time to play around with game modes 13 and 14, which I like a little bit. Those are basically their own game. It's a little something that the game's manual calls video graffiti, and there's two modes. There's game mode 13 and there's game mode 14. The only difference between game modes 13 and 14 is that 13 does not allow for diagonal movement, while 14 does not. You can erase and wrap around the screen in both of them. So let's go ahead and check out number 13 here. And as you can see, whenever I move around, I can draw. And if I hold the fire button down, I can erase my trail and move around without drawing. While both players can play video graffiti, you can do this with one player if you wish. And all you do is just move things around and you draw. That's basically it. I should have made that a little smaller, but what can you do? That's better. And yeah, you want to make sure you're where you want to be before you hold down the fire button, so that way you can decide whether or not you want to hold the fire button down before you want to either draw or don't draw. And 2, 3, 4, 5. And I am just doing this as an example, because I can't really come up with anything off the top of my head. Nothing that doesn't really involve diagonals. 3, 4, 5. And okay. I know what I need to do now. Had to think about how to write a 5. That was something. But yeah, you can draw faces, you can draw letters and numbers. You can draw whatever, basically. And, there we go. Yeah, you can tell I'm really having fun with this. Not much to say about this. Oh, and you can wrap around the top of the bottom too. Never even tried that. I don't know why that surprised me, but it did. Nice to see that there is a game out there that allows you to bring out your own inner Bob Ross. It may be a bit on the basic, bare bones side. I don't really want to say crude, but it's there. And I managed to make a uniform set of numbers out of blocks. Had to get a little creative with the 8 there, but it worked. That really worked. And I might as well go ahead and just play with 14. Nice. Just to see the diagonal movement. And yeah, that sounds fine. I need 9 of these things for what I'm going to do. And thankfully, I'm glad that you were able to erase in both of these modes. Seriously. And now, can I make this work? Okay. Don't hold the button. Now hold the button. Make sure you're on something that you've already drawn before you stop holding the button. Like right here. I should probably show what I'm talking about. If you're trying to do something, like let's make a small little O right here, for example. If you want to keep the block here, don't hold the button. If you want to make a space, that's when you hold the button, and that's when you move. Also, now that I think about it, I should probably play around with that. I just now noticed how uneven that is on the K. Press the button after this. Okay, cool. Had to remind myself how to do this. Really had to. But now, that means that everything here is now 6 wide. Well, that doesn't bother me much because now I can make that a little bigger. I'm glad. You can I can actually make an N, and you can actually tell what it's supposed to look like. And from here, I should be able to do this. I should look into that K. What if I were to do that? And then, perfect. Knock! And, yeah. That's all video graffiti is, but that's all it needs to be. You just draw with the joystick. If you're playing on mode 14, you can play around with diagonal motions. If you want to erase, or if you don't want to draw in the direction you want to go, you hold the fire button down before you move. Kind of like with the erase gimmick in modes 7 and 12 and 13. And apparently I must have... Can you move the up? Oh, I'm right there. I thought it was the orange dot for a moment. No, I'm right there. There we go. Now everything is as it should be. And I can't believe I did this for all of 10 minutes. I can't believe I made a 10 minutes going on 11 minutes video out of this. This is kind of funny, to say the least. Didn't think I'd be getting this much enjoyment out of it, but here we are. And let's see if I can actually... You can. And I like how you can just use your own dot to just preview what you want to do and just see where your thing is going to be. There we go. We made a little smiley face. I wanted to make sure I did at least that before I ended this little look at this simple yet still entertaining game all these years later. I was saying something and now I can't remember what it was. This was Surround. It's one of those Snake games where you compete against a friend, kind of like the Tron game that would come out 5 years after this, amazingly. And I do like the fact that this little game has its own little drawing mode. And of course, there's a lot of fun, assuming you have someone else to play this game with. There's only 2 one-player modes, but the rest are 2. So unless you have a friend, you're not going to be able to use a lot of the gimmicks, such as the erase, the diagonal movement, or the wraparound. But at least Video Graffiti lets you do that in a one-player sort of way. So that makes up for it a little bit, but I wish there were more game modes. Other than that, that's pretty much all I can really say about this game. That's all I can really complain about. So, how the heck do I review this game? I mean, what you see here is pretty much what you get. You are a dot that leaves a trail. You have the key from running into your own trail or into your opponent's, and the first person to keep themselves from doing that is the winner. And you do that until somebody scores 10 points, and then you start all over again. Simple game, not much to it. I can't really complain much. Graphics are what they are. At least you can easily see them and they don't look terrible. You do have a little bit of arcade sound in the form of people moving around and, well, your dots moving around and crashing into something, whether it be a wall or someone else's trail or even their own. Controls are pretty responsive for the most part. It takes a little bit of time to get used to movement, but it's just that, a little bit of time. And I was able to get used to how to move pretty quickly. And then there's the replay value. Your mileage may vary. You may play this for a few minutes. You may play this for even longer. And, well, there is Video Graffiti, which I showed off in this video. And Video Graffiti, they didn't have to put this in there. They did. I'm glad they did. I mean, there should have been a game that allowed you to draw stick figures and smiley faces and other stuff, and well, I'm glad that the game allowed for that. I mean, it's not Mario Paint, but I can appreciate Video Graffiti for what it is. And finally, is it worth getting? I don't see why not. It's not a terrible game. It's just something that you'll probably not get a lot of enjoyment out of, and if you do, you're going to get it out of the game really, really quickly. It's not a bad game, it's just there's so little to it, and it's super basic, but even then, can't go wrong with this one. There are worse games than this. And that's pretty much all I can say about the mini review for this game. This has been Let's Play Surround for the Atari 2600, and hopefully I will be back with another game. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad, maybe it'll be some room between, who knows. Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care, stay safe, thanks for watching, and see y'all later!